Good evening to all of our distinguished guests and to all that have assembled here this evening for this great occasion, the 100th anniversary of the NAACP. My name is Michelle Kitchens, and as the president of this great association, it is my great pleasure to introduce our magnificent speaker for this evening. Free Mandela! Free Mandela! These words were chanted outside the prison where our speaker was incarcerated. Nelson Mandela is quoted with saying, "The struggle is my life." These words not only describe his philosophy, but literally dictate a summarized autobiography of his life. Nelson Mandela personifies struggle. He is still leading the fight against apartheid with extraordinary vigor and resilience after spending nearly 3 decades of his life behind bars. He has sacrificed his private life and his youth for his people and remains South Africa's best known and loved hero. Nelson Mandela was born in a village near Umtata in the Transkei on July 18, 1918. His father was principal counselor to the acting paramount chief of Thembulan. After his father's death, he became the paramount's chief ward to be groomed to assume high office. However, Nelson Mandela chose to become a lawyer. In 1961, Umkhonto we Sizwe was formed, with Mandela as its commander-in-chief. In 1962, Nelson Mandela left the country unlawfully and traveled abroad for several months. In Ethiopia, he addressed the conference of the Pan-African Freedom Movement of East and Central Africa and was warmly received by senior political leaders in several countries. During this trip, he anticipated an intensification of the armed struggle, began to arrange guerrilla training for members of the Umkhonto we Sizwe. Not long after his return, Nelson Mandela was arrested and charged with illegal exit from the country and incitement to strike. Mr. Mandela was convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. While serving his sentence, he was charged in the Riviera trial with sabotage. Mandela's statement in court during these trials are classic in the history of the resistance to apartheid, and they have been an inspiration to all who have opposed it. This statement from the dock in the Riviera trials ends with these words: "I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if it needs be, if it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." Mr. Mandela was sentenced to life imprisonment. He was released, however, on February the 11th, 1990. He plunged wholeheartedly into his life's work, striving to attain the goals he and others had set almost 4 decades earlier. Nelson Mandela has never wavered in his devotion to democracy and learning. Despite terrible provocation, he has never answered racism with racism. His life has been an inspiration in South Africa and throughout the world. To all who are oppressed and deprived, to all who are opposed to oppression and deprivation. And life that symbolizes the triumph of the human spirit over man's inhumanity to man. Nelson Mandela accepted the 1993 Nobel Peace Prize on behalf of all South Africans who suffered and sacrificed so much to bring peace to our land. He was inaugurated as the first democratically elected state president of South Africa on May the 10th, 1994, and he served until June of 1999. Mr. Mandela has honorary degrees from more than 50 international universities and is Chancellor of the University of the North. He retired from public life in June of 1999. He currently resides in his birthplace, Transky. When Nelson Mandela was released from prison, he quoted these words, "I stand here before you, not as a prophet, but as an humble servant of you, the people. Your tireless and heroic sacrifices have made it possible for me to be here today. I therefore place the remaining years of my life in your hands." And so I, Michelle Kitchens, stand here today as an humble servant to present this great man, a man of integrity, a man of humility, and a man of power. Please stand on your feet and welcome with me Mr. Nelson Mandela. Thank you.